Hello and welcome to our discussion on human capital, a topic under the unit Current Challenges Facing the Indian Economy. That's chapter 5 of your textbook, Indian Economic Development. We have learned about the meaning and the sources of human capital. Today we'll talk about the relationship between human capital and how it contributes to the economic growth of the country. We have learned about human capital and the sources that we can convert human resources to human capital. That's about um, education, health, two prime important sources. Then we talk about the other factors like on the job training, migration, information. Okay, so knowing that, let's further that into human capital helping the development of the country. If humans are equipped with all those resources, how can we contribute to the economy, or whether there is a relationship between a growth of human capital to a growth of the country, the economic development. So when we talk about that, let's look at those two important factors that contribute to human capital. First thing is about education, second about health. So when you look at this is from your textbook, we can relate to educated person and uneducated person. Like if you compare between the two, you'll find that those who have skill, because you are educated, you generate more income when you work than uneducated person. That's the fact. And the contribution of educated person to economic growth is more than that of the illiterate person. So the first thing we look at education, we understand if more are educated, more are skilled, more are having this um, knowledge, the more they'll perform better and contributes to economic growth. So there is a kind of a direct relationship between human capital and economic growth. What do we mean by economic growth? When we talk about economic growth, mainly we mean the increase in real national income of the country. That's about the main objective, to raise the income level of the people in the country and how much they can use that towards their welfare. Okay, so you understand education vis-a-vis economic growth, direct relationship. Secondly, we talk about health. A healthy person could provide uninterrupted uninterrupted labor supply for a long period of time. So you compare between a healthy person and a sick person who is out of the job most of the time. You understand healthy person contributes more. So this is another important factor for economic growth of the country. So both education and health are prime importance, but we also know on the job training, job market information, migration, these also help in contributing to human capital, and human capital increase the ability of person to perform. It increased the labor productivity. That's the number one contribution of human capital to economic development. It equips a person to perform better, to become more efficient, thereby bringing about productivity in his activity. Number two, it stimulates innovation and creates, number three, ability to observe technologies. Educated person, they have knowledge, they understand about society, they understand about advancement in the world. So that's why they it makes them aware, conscious, and also um, put forth their reasoning power, the ability to invent and innovate. So that's come about from an education perspective. And also, secondly, educated labor bring about facilitation of the adaptation of new technologies. So you understand human capital increases labor productivity. Labor productivity, it's because you are educated, you tend to develop innovation, you tend to adopt technologies, so that's bring about development in the economy. Okay, so that's about the first um, relationship that you can explain between the human capital and economic development. There are reasons to believe that the causality between the cost between human capital and economic growth flows in either direction. That means both are complementary, they help each other, they need one another, so to say, because high income because of growth causes building of a high level of human capital. If a country is having development, growing, it helps to bring more human capital, increases the level of human capital, and vice versa, the opposite, not it? If human capital, um, I mean, if the income of the country is low, that you understand human capital level is also low. That's point number one, the relationship between these income and growth to human capital. And secondly, high level of human capital causes growth of income, growth of the economy. So that's about the causality between human capital and growth. They are in both direction, not it either direction, so to say. Same thing. Um, Income leads to human capital, and human capital also causes growth of income. So because of the importance of these sources, the factors that bring about economic development, and we understand, human capital, when we understand human capital can also help in bringing about the development of the country. In India, we recognize that importance. So that's why, right from the 7 5 year plan, um, we have endorsed the importance of human capital and also implements policy changes to bring about more and more uh, development in human resources. So that's why even right from the 7 5 year plan, there has been the recognition of the need to develop human resource by assigning key role in development strategy. If you want to develop a country, you must have a strategy, and you need to assign these resources the respective role. And you understand India has a huge population. So if you train them, if you educate them on a sound line, these heavy high population can become an asset, can become uh, productive towards bringing economic growth and accelerating that in the long run, and also bring about social change in the economy. So that's the importance of human capital to economic development. India sees that importance. We have huge population, we should take it as a potential. So if we make use of them properly, it will bring about a very high growth rate in the economy. Okay, so even though empirically there is no direct um, so to say mechanism or methodology to bring about a direct relationship of the causes and effect from the growth of human capital like education and health to economic growth, but we understand if these two important factors of human capital, education and growth, are growing, then there will be, like we've said earlier, there will be more productivity, more innovation, no more technology. We understand that, but based from data, we can say that it's difficult to establish that link. But we'll try here with the help of this table to look at the data and prove a point that yes, if there is high human capital, there will be high growth in income, or the opposite, high growth of income brings about high level of human capital. So from table 5, you look at table 5, you can see growth in each sector probably has reinforced the growth of every other sector. You look at the first, second row, the real per capita income. This is the income. This is about growth of the country. We have seen from 1951 to 2014 there has been a continuous growth in our level of earning. That's good. That's about um, so to say development. We talk about that. Whether it has a direct relationship with health and health and education. First, we'll look at this second last point: life expectancy at birth. You look at this. This is from health perspective. You can see that our life expectancy for male and female has increased from 37 to 67 for male, 36 to 70 for female. This is the growth in so to say health sector by looking at uh, this data, not it, this criteria. If you look at this infant mortality rate, you can see the infant mortality rate has declined. That's good. The death rate of infant has declined. If you look at the crude death rate for people per 1,000 has also declined. So that's about, we can say, the um, development of healthcare. That's about bringing human capital. So you understand, in India our health has improved, and the improvement in health has bring about increase in income. Let's look at education, the last rows. Education, looking at literacy rate from 16 to 76. What do you see? There is an increase in education, and it corresponds to the increase in income. Even though we cannot, so to say, um, like empirically prove that, from the sense of that, if you look at the infrastructure, if you look at the enrollment, we'll forget about that. Even if we look at this simple table, we can have a sense of there is a relationship between human capital and economic development, or vice versa, development and human capital. And to further prove a point, let's look at two important independent study by first Deutsche Bank, a German bank, looking at India in recent times and how India grows because of the strength in human capital formation. That's the first report by Deutsche Bank, a German bank, identified that India will emerge as one among four major growth centers in the world by 2020. And increases in human capital, therefore, are crucial to achieve increase in GDP. What this Deutsche Bank said is that India will grow. By grow means it will develop, economic development, economic growth. Why? Because it has human capital formation, which is going strong. So that's why it sees at that point that if it can increase the human capital, India can become one of the major economic power by 2020. That's the first thing that can show us the link between these two points that we discussed: capital, human capital, and economic development. World Bank second report states that India should make transition to the knowledge economy, and if it uses its knowledge, education as much as Ireland does, then the per capita income of India will increase. So there also you see it talks about human capital that we have, and if we make use of education to um, bring about an increase in literacy rate and bring about a knowledge economy so that people learn, it says that our per capita income, our growth, so to say, will increase from $1,000 to about $3,000 in 2020. So you can understand that we have population. They are human resources. So if we can enrich and strengthen these human resources with those factors like health, education primarily, and training and information. These are the key ingredients, no, to bring about um, to strengthen the economy, and we have the potential to do so. So, thus, the two reports that we have discussed, it, they point out the fact that further human capital in India will move its economy to a higher growth trajectory, meaning human capital, India or elsewhere, can bring about economic development. So that's about the relationship between human capital and economic development.